One of the other projects we got to clean up is a new fuel line. And well, I just love it when they coil these things up and send them to you. I know they got to fit in a box, but you know, maybe they could have left it straight and shipped it in a piece of PVC tubing. There's an idea. But we'll get it straightened out. I think you can. There's a way I've seen to run this tubing through a couple pieces of wood and straighten it out, and then we're going to have to rebend it to put it up in the frame, and we'll see if we can get the fuel line from the back to the front. And then we have a little short fuel line that goes from the union up to the fuel pump, and of course we don't have a fuel pump anyway, so that's not so critical. But we got all kinds of little jobs to clean up here. Pretty soon it's going to be time to start monkeying with the tub, the bodywork, and that's a whole nother animal. So we're trying to get all these little jobs cleaned up. Still got a bunch of little parts we got to put in a parts order. Hate doing that, but there's no way around it. And we'll get a lot of that little stuff taken care of and just keep working on it. We were able to straighten that fuel line out, sort of. It's the way it runs along the outside of the frame rail here. It's going to be, nobody's going to be able to determine whether it's straight or not. I run it in along the frame here. I haven't put the P brackets on it yet to bolt it to the frame back here, because we don't have a fuel pump and we don't have the fuel tank mounted where it's going to go, so we really don't have a reference forward and back where it needs to be. So there's another line, there's a union that goes here, and another line that goes up through here, up the front of the bulkhead to the fuel pump. So I think what we've got to do is get a fuel pump, bite the bullet. I think I found one. I think we're going to go with a, looks like SU modern solid state pump for a couple of reasons, but the primary reason being that with all the additives, the ethanol and everything in the fuel these days, some of the old style products just aren't too spiffy. So this new pump professes to work with all different kinds of new fuel, so I think we'll go with that. And once we get the fuel pump located and run that line down and through here and under here, then we can hook the union here and work our way back. So for right now, the fuel line can just lay in there, and at least we know where it is. The next little ditty I think we'll work on is the lacing on this grill shell. We found in our stuff one of these pieces that goes over the hood hinge, and you know, all the books and papers and everything that you find, there ain't a damn one of them shows you anything about how that goes. So to be honest with you, I thought it went like that, but it looks like in the parts book, the one little sketch that I saw, that it goes like that with the hump facing up and bolts in those two holes there, and then the hood hinge slides in there, and there's another one back at the top of that rubber piece where the back side of the hood fits. In my bag of tricks I have two of these and one of these, so we're going to have to get another one of these in our next parts order. But I think we can go ahead and put this one on, and then we can see if we can put this hood lacing in here. We'll see how that works. So it looks like it's going to be real tricky to get these nuts up under here where they go and get that to fit nice and snug.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this grill shell back off again. Imagine that. And get this on there, get it fitted, looking, sitting nice. And then start the lacing, because I think what's got to happen is you've got to work both sides down. And I think I'll get down to the point where we get this first screw and go from there. So let's see what we got. So we got the grill shell off, and we put our hinge cover on there, and kind of sits like that. Now I need to go and look at the end of the hinge. If the end of the hinge is returned, closed off, then it's going to be awful hard to slide it in there. If it's just open on the end and just slides in there, we can loosen these screws and slide the hood in there and tighten them down. I'm going to have to go and look at that. Either way, we'll leave these screws a little loose because we've got to adjust back and forth and side to side and all that kind of stuff. But what we'll do now is we'll get that lacing out and see what it's going to take. In fact, I've got it right here. We're going to see what it's going to take to go down both sides. I think what we'll do is we'll fold it in half, figure out where the middle point of it is, and then run down both sides. Seems to be the way to do it. So we put a mark, we sort of fold it in half and put a mark in the middle and fit it through there both directions so that the mark is right up underneath our hood support then. So then we just go down through here. Nothing like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. There you go. There we go, and then turn it right around and come back up through again. So that's really what you get. We'll do that in both directions and see how it works out. Well, we've got our hood lacing in, with our bracket bolted on. It's a big long tail hangs out the bottom. I don't know. I'll have to figure out, maybe somebody out there knows what you're supposed to do with the piece hanging out the bottom. You just let it hang there, or I would think there'd got to be some way to retain that tail end, but excuse me, we'll see for the time being. That gives the hood something to set on there, and another job knocked out.